so long in playoffs. But we're getting to our draft now for game number 3. We've swapped sides, of course, back again. With LGD going to be back on blue. And Azir, for the 3rd game in a row, is banned away from Pwong, and Yasuo is going to join him.
Yeah, and rightly so, of course. Take away that Azir, one of his best and most played champions. As every single time LGD are playing this game, they are target banning, so that's what they're going to do again here.
Yep, Gragas also banned once more, so 3 straight for the first 3 bans. These teams know, at least for the first few, which champions and players they're going to target on the enemy team. 12 seconds left now for Vici, and it is going to be Kog'Maw banned away.
Kog'Maw was the first pick from LGD when they were on that blue side.
That's
so
right,
prioritizing very heavily that Kog'Maw pick. Imp pretty much playing like he's a Kog'Maw irrespective at the moment. So another good ban from Vici, an adaptation in the banning phase. Very smart play.
I like it. I think they banned it in game 2 as well, but certainly like taking that option away from LGD. Is 3 seconds left for LGD's last ban, and it is Victor. The double mid lane ban still there, but Pwong showing some prowess on the control mages as well.
And there's the other ban, of course.
Yep,
rightly so.
Dandy knows how strong it is. He's certainly going to ban it away, and that'll give LGD first pick now. 50 seconds to decide what they want to take first for themselves.
Yeah, and Dandy, the man in control of bans. I don't think that took very long for them to decide, but they leave open a champion.
We saw this last time. I was like, they have to ban Ryze on red side, and they didn't ban it. They didn't ban it, and they took it because they had to ban Kalista. Opposite time this time around. So Imp is going to get Kalista. That is a powerful champion for him, and especially for PYL. This doesn't usually happen. Vici may find out why.
Yeah, they don't often get the Kalista, but of course, there is a Thresh that should be taken away on the flip side to deny that combo from Imp and PYL, because if they get the dynamic duo of the bot lane, the Kalista and the Thresh, overwhelming amounts of strength. Now, I was thinking that Braum may be another smart pick into the Kalista, but they may want to prioritize the denial pick. And I mean, the Kalista is the first pick. There's so many options available. Elise is still going to be an ever-present issue. Echo is actually a really big focus for these Chinese teams. Maybe not TBQ and World 6 as their jungle pool is slightly limited.
Yeah, it is, but they take Nah, Thresh as their first 2 picks, and they've got options later down the draft. Junglers are, again, there's so many target bans and a lot of priority bans. You can't ban away everything, so a lot of the stronger junglers in particular seem to be coming through in this series.
Yeah.
But LGD, 30 seconds now. They might go back to a very similar looking comp from game 1. Lulu's been a surprisingly contested pick so far.
Yeah, you know, the funny part is that you have to target ban when you're on the blue side because it unlocks all of these picks for you, whereas on red side you have to get rid of strong champions, but instead they are target banning. They're getting rid of the Yasuo, getting rid of the Kog'Maw, and this unlocks the priority pick of the Lulu for LGD to take for Godby.
Yep, in this case it's Kalista first, but it is Rek'Sai Lulu that they follow up with. It's not quite Kog'Maw Lulu, but first 3 picks almost identical to game 1. Yeah, I like that. A little bit of swagger there from the AD carry on Vici.
You know, the worst part would be if he won with it. Imp would probably just tilt.
He might.
He'll probably go for the Kog'Maw or the Sivir, you would imagine, but he has that pocket Vayne pick, and when the Nunu is hovered,
yep,
he likes to default to it.
Vayne's already in, so Nunu might be joining him shortly. World 6 did show proficiency on the champion, so certainly happy with him to play Nunu given game number 2. But Chuan is back in carry mode. No Sivir this game, apparently. Yeah. It's all about that Vayne.
Not going to see that Sivir, even though it is one of his most played champions. He has that pocket Vayne. So very happy to actually bring that one out, it seems. No hesitation. Up against the Kalista, it's an interesting matchup because Vayne wins up to 3 auto attacks. But from 3 auto attacks onwards, loses until 6 auto attacks, and then just loses.
Yeah, which makes sense. This is a pretty good champion, as it turns out. As Nunu Vayne are the pickup. So similar looking comp here for Vici. No Dandy Ryze this time, but going to have a nice playmaker and tank on Nah. Is LGD. How are they going to complete this lineup? They do need a support to pairing with the Kalista. It looks like they're searching for probably a top laner here as well.
They may just go for the Maokai and put all of their effort into protecting. Or they could just do something outrageous.
Might be having some fun with his audience here. Let's give LGD a bit more time to decide what they want to play here.
Realistically, their team comp is already well-rounded from the 3 members they have alone. They have Peel, they have Protect for the Kalista, they've got a tank, and they have an abundance of damage. So these last 2 picks, the support can be for laning phase if need be. top/mid can be for whatever you like.
Seems like they're picking Godvy's champion. They do lock in Jana. Ari's going to be the second, which means Akon's actually the one on Lulu duty this time around. Sort of a flex. They're going to take that into the Nah.
Yeah, it is going to be a flex pick, and this may be one of the reasons why they swap out Acorn and Flame, is that on blue side, the Lulu is seemingly a priority. They can play that in the top lane, so diversity. As Vici are trying their best to mock LGD.
They're trying to rub it in.
They're really trying hard.
Matcha's flashing that Kassadin. Pong is going to play into the Ari. Knows that matchup now. Had to pick blind, did Godvy. But Ari's pretty good into most matchups.
But of course, Kassadin at level 6 does find himself doing very well. May default back to, say, the Orianna. Finds some strengths in a safe control mage champion, but the Victor not available, the Azir not available. Not a lot of options in terms of direct control mages. Hell, I'd go Annie.
Yeah, he's been banned out a lot, has Pong, so doing a nice job navigating some tricky lanes against a tough opponent. Ari's not an easy one to play against, and they actually are going to take the Kassadin. It wasn't just Marta trying to rub a little salt into the wound. It actually is going to be the pick here against Ari.
Yeah, they've picked that lane, and it's not the greatest lane to be a part of for a Kassadin, but at the same time, it's actually really good once you hit 6. Even level 5 once you put a couple levels into the queue.
Yep.
The real question mark comes down to if Godvy can get through laning phase and roam around the map, because that's when they're matched in terms of their skill and performance. So you look to the junglers then to see if that can actually be unlocked to happen. A lot has to go on.
It does, and it's a similar looking comp for Vici again. No control mage in mid lane, but they've sort of moved the control factor from mid lane to top lane here and given the carries back to the mid and back to the AD. LGD's team comp is a little harder for me to decipher, Rusty. Curious as to what you think about it, especially with that late Ari pick.
Yeah, it's certainly pick heavy again. It plays to seemingly the strengths, but they've gone for that Janna support. But we'll start in the top lane. Yep. The control mage himself.
Akon Lulu versus Dandy on Nah. Curious to see that matchup as TVQ back on Rek'Sai. World 6 gonna stick on Nunu though. Feels pretty good after that second game. As Godvy on Ari breaking out an assassin for the first time in the series.
Well,
except Kassadin. Versus the Kassadin there from Pong. Thanks, Rusty.
You're welcome. But he does have an assassin into an assassin, which is the first time we'll see that one. As we move towards our bottom lane, high impact AD carries Vayne against Kalista.
And PYL on the Jana. Disengage option there for PYL versus Marta on his Thresh. It's funny, it's twice now PYL's played, I would say, signature Marta champions.
You know, both of these teams, they don't actually find a lot of success when they're playing peel supports. They're most suited to playing playmaking supports because PYL and Marta, well, that's just their style to a T.
Yeah, it is indeed, but let's get onto the rift for Game 3. And we're all square coming into game number 3. Vici and LGD one apiece here in this best of 5. As we move on to the rift for game 3. Marta moving out. Gonna see if we can put some vision down early, and seems like a bit more of a defensive fan up this time. Yeah. No crazy level 1s. There's a good ward from Godvy.
No, both of these guys, in terms of teams, I shouldn't say guys whilst we're looking at a particular lane, love just the passive fan style. They seemingly always want lane swaps, but LGD, when they're on the blue side, seem much more content with just having standard lanes. And it's interesting the dynamic between when people choose to pick a standard lane or lane swap, because the top lane towers are tankier.
That's true.
And it's a lot more effort to actually get them down. So when you put the lane swap into effect, you're more so doing it to sustain your AD carry, get some farm for them, and have a very big mid-game fight.
I feel like with peel supports, especially for PYL, LGD might just want to take the 2v2. We don't see it too often, but Imp and PYL are actually pretty good in a 2-man lane as well.
You would assume they want the 2 versus 2, but in saying that, Vici Gaming do not really seem to want that themselves. Kalista Janna is a very difficult lane to deal with, the raw pressure that you can put down. Janna also actually quite good at auto-attacking people, so very handy for the Kalista trades. Vici, here they go. They're on a ward though. Yeah, late invade, but they do walk past a ward. It's going to give TBQ more than enough info. Probably going to vertically jungle up now. You can already see blue pings out onto Vici's blue buff, but going to start off here
get this one. That'll go over to World 6. And he actually might not use his smite, which could be fun.
Well, here's a Nunu. He did smite, though.
Okay.
The end result, PYL immediately rotating towards the enemy jungle. It's nice to have Sentinels as well as a Kalista. You can see if they start on your side of the jungle, you know that side is safe because Sentinels haven't spotted anyone. They don't actually need to even place a ward for that sole reason.
Got enough vision there and kind of know where the strong side is. So Vici will start on the blue buff, but it's kind of just to make sure they start with both buffs here. And Godby and Pwong going to line up in the mid lane. Level 1 Ari trying to get some damage down onto the Kassadin.
One of the cool intricacies of this lane is the way that true damage will work for the REQ on the return half of the Orb of Deception. Really good for trading for Godby against Pong, but in saying that, if you can dodge the second half, you're actually perfectly fine, because the first half is the hard one to dodge.
Yeah, you can see that there from Godby lining it up. Actually got the back half and not the front half, which is
Ideal
what he wanted in
still.
that situation, yeah. He's going to start fighting, but Pwong trading well. Like you said, this lane's only going to get easy for Kassadin, so it's more their mid-game strength that we look towards then.
Yeah, the first buy helps out a lot, and it's going to come down to how they can actually rotate around the map. And the fact that they've got the Janna support now, and they have the Ahri in the mid lane, they've translated a lot of that movement towards the middle lane and a lot more support focus towards PYL.
With that, jungling does continue. World 6 and Dandy still together. Just finished the red buff, and it's double buff now for LGD as well.
Now, though, for LGD is they've got the Janna. The Rex are very good at taking. Actually, you know what?
Yep.
Janna Lulu. I don't know if TBQ really want to take damage.
No, Rek'Sai also pretty good in this situation. Plenty of shields, like you said as well. And TBQ is going to be just fine. Can probably keep jungling after this, but sort of expected for Vici given the lane swap situation. LGD going to cleanly take away Dragon #1, but that's just the start of things here. TBQ actually doesn't have smite, but will finish the Dragon relatively healthy.
And of course, this is the advantage of having VG Gaming being the team to put the lane swap into effect, is you don't want to show yourself on the top half of the map, especially not until around 5 minutes when you know they can't possibly still be in your jungle because there's no jungle left for them to take. So until such a stage, you generally look towards the Dragon or you look towards the bottom turret as your plan of attack. But the bottom turret is not in a position where you can actually push that down, as they have frozen it here. Imp trying to get as much farm as possible on this Kalista.
And this is Imp's MO usually in these lanes. Get the deep freeze going, get the early experience. You can see again PYL's left long enough for Imp to get 2 extra levels. They really value his early farming experience.
They certainly do. Being level 4, very handy. But Mata and Schwan have actually both found level 4 themselves, so all things considered, it's really just PYL behind.
Yep. Bit awkward there, but Vici going to move 4 into the top lane now. The Nunu Blood Bowl is going to help out, and the first tower is going to very cleanly go to Vici Gaming. Again, the early game starting to favor Vici a little bit more as we see these games play out.
It is definitely starting to favor them. The balance is tipping, and we're not entirely sure where it's going to tip too far just yet, but Godby again in this middle lane. Until the first recall, until we get some levels into that queue, true damage is the real hero for this Ahri in the matchup.
And now Pong's going to get to safety. Unless he gets his back cancelled by TBQ. Is currently stealing the enemy Raptors, but back will happen. It is going to be that blasting one first. Couple of consumables there as well. But Godby with a nice little CS lead. There's Imp in the bottom lane. Going to push all those minions into the turret, but he has to go back.
He's 18 CS ahead right now. I mean, Vayne will get a fair bit of those under the turret. But in saying that, he's probably just going to avoid the lane entirely, you would imagine. Lulu actually found the 1 versus 1. But PYL already up here, so you would assume, right?
It's also still level 2.
Yeah.
PYL.
Well, you would assume he's going to come to a lane PYL sooner rather than later. But the answer seemingly later.
Good work from World 6. Tornado rides in, doesn't quite steal it.
Not a bad effort. They were avoiding the ward as well, which was on the other side of the golems, whether they knew it or not.
Adorable, but perhaps not that effective here. As LGD is sort of floundering a bit, but Imp is the big beneficiary once again. Bilgewater Cutlass already completed. He's actually getting a nice bit of early farm, and they're kind of trading it for support levels, and I guess top lane farm in some ways as well. Dandy's...
This is a really good 1v1 for Kalista. Like, absurdly good, because you can auto-attack minions, throw out a Q. You got lots of free Ren stacks with the reset on the Ren, and if Vayne tries to fight you, it just becomes really bad, and you can see that. Item advantages, level 6 to 5. Schwan doesn't want anything to do with that at all, and this is without supports.
Yep, supports are coming back now as well. PYL still level 2 in 7 minutes. Curious to check in on his next level up. I'm just going to keep it set as point. Actually gets hooked. He's an easy kill as the snowball lands in. The tornado will miss, and PYL going to lose his flash. Lucky that it's not his life.
Yeah, well, thankfully he's a Janna, so relatively safe. Just doesn't like experience, in all honesty. Just experience is overrated. I'd rather just be around the map. And I guess the worst part is that he is a Janna, so he's not able to impact the map like Marta would on that thresh, as an example. And that's the downfall of LGD right now with their drafting, is that they've tried to protect people with the Janna. They wanted the double disengage option with a re-engage, the Lulu Rek'Sai as an example, working around picks, but then the lane swap put into effect by Avicii basically ruins the Janna's existence for PYL.
Yeah, I mean, you can get some stuff done here, but it's not the same impact as Thresh. And Imp, thankfully level 6 now, you know, at least be able to pull PYL out of a sticky situation. With Imp again, has been heavily invested into by LGD. He's almost 20 CS ahead of Schwan. He's going to need to have a big game, and he's on a big champion in Kalista. Dandy just riding the wave into the top lane. Does pop back into mini-nerf form. Going to go harass TBQ, and TBQ not interested in this game.
Dandy hasn't recalled yet, but he's still doing a lot of damage, all things considered. But realistically, I mean, we were talking about the fact that Imp was doing well in his lane. He's found himself an item and a CS discrepancy. Top lane is very similar in that Lulu did spend a lot of time working around the dragon area, fell behind a little bit, and they took down some immediate gold for Dandy, so he's found himself in a very comfortable position. You can see that from his itemization now.
Yep, Hextricka first there for Dandy. As Fong picks up his blue buff there, gets that onto Cassidy, and it looks like Ara's got hers as well, as Imp continues to play aggressively there in the lane. And there's Godby. Hasn't gone back just, he has gone back, got a Chalice and double Doran, so going to be moving into that Athene's build early on. All quiet in the mid lane so far, sort of expected for these two, just trying to farm up early on.
Yeah, definitely expected. They both want to look towards movements around the map. They don't necessarily want to find each other in the middle lane, and the junglers don't have the biggest kill impact, as TBQ could not find anything on the Pong 3-6. Lane swap forced him into other areas of the map, but the dragon is up in 40 seconds. Should be the plan of attack here from LGD. They got that first one really early, and they will be able to put down, you would assume, vision before it starts, but no vision whatsoever placed yet.
Blue off Godby doing a nice job pushing in as well, so space is opening now for that dragon pickup. Godby even thinking about getting aggressive, probably
threatening.
Yeah, can't get an all in.
The Godby special, they're trying to deny last hits basically by being a pest and throwing spells out in directions where he may walk to last hit. So nothing directly coming from it, but it's, you know, just keeping him down, keeping him pushed. Oh my.
Yeah, box down from Martha. PYL going to try and deny. Great hook there as well. For the teleports are going to come in for the top lane. Schwan is a little low. Acorn comes in for the damage. He ignites down. The wild growth is popped. And PYL is going to get kill number 1.
And they played that really well. The flash from Imp to avoid the condemn into the wall changes the tower aggro. And then the rest of the teleport comes out. Acorn finds a kill. They get the turret. Dragon time to perfection from LGD from all of this. You could not have asked for a better situation to be in now. Almost 30 CS ahead, Kalista. And even after an engage that was near perfect from Marta, nothing comes from it in their favor.
No, and that cascades nicely here for LGD. Going to pick up Dragon number 2, possibly Tower number 2 here as Godby onto the mid lane turret.
And that's basically a raw 1v1 as well.
Yeah, every time this mid lane's been isolated, Godby's had just a great time.
He's having a field day right now with Pong. And I mean, Pong really good at team fighting. This VG side have shown they've actually really stepped up in their team fighting capabilities. But in terms of direct laning phase, with just a Chalice, can push a Cassidy out of lane.
It's impressive stuff from Godby, but again, feel like his laning phase gets slept on, but not in this particular mid lane matchup.
Oh no.
As Imp is so far ahead in CS, my god.
Yeah.
Almost 40 up now on this Kalista. Gonna go back for that first buy.
Is it a blade?
Yeah, it's got 2,000 gold, it has to be.
Yeah, that's enough for the blade.
Blade of the Ruined King already completed. That's sort of the other school of Kalista, but it's always that last steal item. But Blade versus Bloodthirster seems to still be sort of a choice.
Yeah, and the new Kalista, more inclined towards wanting attack speed, just to help out your kit a little bit more so you can throw those Qs, intertwine them with the rest of your mobility that you are just consistently given from your passive. And, I mean, it's mostly going to be Blade of the Ruined King now. The only time you would really go for a Bloodthirster is when they're a burst-heavy comp, like a Zed as an example. The active is just so useful.
We'll see Imp only gets stronger from this point. He's actually moving lanes, but has somehow tracked the Vici duo lane. There's Schwan is in the top lane as well. They see Dandy, so they know this swap is where they want to be. And Godby did also get the mid lane turret and had the Themes up, so things looking good there in the bottom and mid lanes, but Akon's swapping back, and he's actually got a catalyst for himself on Lulu. Might be Rod of Ages.
You would assume a Rod of Ages? Very hard to say until he gets it, but I mean, Righteous Glory is
yep,
the thing.
You never know.
Let's not go that deep just yet. It's going to be a Rod of Ages until further notice.
And Akon's quite far behind as well. Dandy's up 30 CS or so in that matchup. And that's sort of been the trade-off here.
Yeah. Top lane doing really well for Dandy in particular, but Imp is super far ahead of the Kalista. So there's always the concern that one team fight could go poorly, the Kalista could go off. Godby could just make a single charm, and the team fight could end because Imp is putting damage down. Risky.
Oh, look at Imp going straight in there. Even pops the Fate's Call. Martha has to flash out. Gonna lose a couple spells there for it. Imp's gonna get slowed up by the Nunu. Dodges the hook though.
Does not care.
Coming in for more damage. He doesn't care at all. He doesn't even have boots.
It's like 900 standing gold for him right there. Does not care that there's an extra member. And seriously, Godby is keeping Pong down in this middle lane right. Has a Rod of Ages though at 13 minutes. So in terms of item timing, doing very well this Kassadin. Just starting to fall ever further behind in that farm, as is Schwan.
And again, it's sort of that farm trade-off between the top laner and AD carry, but Imp has just gotten that much further ahead there. Godby as well has also had a nice 1v1 lane, so he's won his isolated matchup there. Actually level 10 now, getting close to 11. Going to keep putting pressure on the mid lane. But there are no buffs up right now. Dragon's going to be back in about 3 to 4 minutes, and LGD can sort of relax and try and get the top tower and continue getting further ahead. They're already 3,000 gold up, so it's been a good start again for LGD.
Is there a stat for pings per minute? Because I feel
Marta
like
wins.
I feel like these two teams as a whole just break the record. I could not do that.
Marta is a very adamant pinger.
I love how, as I say that, no one pings.
There you go. He's back. Oh, good steal. TBQ.
Yeah.
Sweeps in for the ninja. And that's a good denial out from Pong. There's Imp going in for 1v1. Blade of the Ruined Kings. Pop the Imp. Can he make it happen? He pops his heel. The Ren stacks are there. Maybe needs a couple more.
Whoa.
Pops the Ren. And Schwan is lucky to be alive.
Marta's top right now. He was looking but didn't find it, as that was super close for Schwan. You have to say though.
Rayseeker? Not there.
Marta blocking.
Good smart stuff.
Being the hero. The top lane though, the 1v1 out of these AD carries. Imp reigning supreme in terms of strength, reigning supreme in terms of farm in this game. Starting to push out of their hands. The tower will go down whenever Imp decides it is worthy.
And that's now.
And that was basically off the back of a 1v1.
Yeah, and again, it's LGD's star players, Godby and Imp. Sort of outclassing their lanes early on here. Pong does have his Rod of Ages, so going to get that scaling going. And Dandy should also not be slept on here. Getting quite strong on this now, but it is roll up for Akon. Going to be going for a bit of a tankier build. And drag it up in a minute 20. Imp goes back. Berserker Greaves double dagger are the choice going into Runan's Hurricane.
Yeah, wow. Accelerating his build with those Berserker Greaves. Going to be hopping around everywhere now. He has that itemization completed. Something I just noticed that I thought is worth pointing out, whilst we spent the entire early game talking about CS discrepancies, is the jungle.
Yep.
That's a lot of difference in terms of jungle creeps as a disparity between the two.
And World 6 was actually ahead in Game 2 when TBQ was playing on Elise, so a bit more of that farm style seemed to be favouring TBQ, but that is a big difference.
Like, he only just finished his Cinderhulk, the Nunu, and one thing that we've noted, and this is a really good way of explaining that with something to back it up, is the fact that Vici just seemed like more of a team fight team against LGD, when really they're both macro-heavy teams. So the fact that they are now leaning more towards that teamfight orientation is respecting that LGD are able to out-macro them and looking for another avenue.
LGD continuing to get aggressive on macro play, certainly coming in. As PLL has a Aether Wisp. I got distracted earlier, I apologize. But I assume that's Ardent Sensor? I don't even know. We're going to find out today, Rusty. I'll have to check that one in the break.
See, you're just like riddling me with confusion because I know that it builds into something, but I'm forgetting what it is.
All right.
It's like only Liftbane and Luzdecker, right?
And something else, surely. As PYL's forced the Fates Call out. Takes a little bit too much damage. Huge knock up there as TBQ follows in for another one on Imp. Easy as you like for the cleanup. Dandy gets ulted out. TBQ's going to get scooped, but Imp is still firing away as Schwan. He gets 1 kill, but he may not get any more. Akon going to face tank a little bit more. And now he's going to get himself a kill. 2-1 so far in the fight as LGD going to keep running in. Flash charm there onto Schwan. He's ignited. He's getting low. Looks to die. Lifesteal's not enough. And Godvy's going to get it. Akon's going to clean up another. And Marta will be the last one for the ace.
And honestly, LGD, every individual member played that fight well, but PYL actually getting pulled in by that Fate's Call, knocking up 3 members, and then TBQ following it to a T. These guys just played a team fight, really, really well executed from a side that you look at on paper and say, well, their team fighting is average at best.
I mean, as far as team comps go, yes, but these players...
That's what I mean.
Yeah, these... I agree. These players showing up there in that fight. Super creative team fight win.
Yeah, and I mean, even the Meganar just ticked over from Dandy, and we will see that again as the Fate's Call actually going back in and knocking them up. Phenomenal. TBQ tunnels in at the same time as the charm connecting. PYL knocking him away so that the Nar will not be able to connect on him. Akon sitting in the backline, putting in that damage. And this is just LGD, every single member putting in work. Godby finds the flash charm, and Akon already on his way for that flank from the top side. No lifesteal's going to save you there, Sean. LGD, they've actually just found a massive snowball. And the best part is that every single individual member is now snowballing. It's not just going to be the Godv show in this game.
It's not, and they got a dragon and they got a tower out of it as well, so huge objective advantage on top of that team fight win for LGD. Means they're about 6,500 gold up. World 6 gets chunked to about 40% health, and Godv doesn't quite go for the ultimate, but he's got Luden's Echo now. He is quite strong as that minion wave dissolves.
Yeah, the best part about the Luden's Echo, of course, the added wave clear that you can then actually have from a single Q is Pong. You've just found yourself an Imp.
There's a minion wave here as well. Imp just...
Oh, finish the teleport.
Nope. Dandy's like, nope, definitely not. And Imp casually 1v1s the mid laner. Doesn't even have Runan's finish yet.
That was way too casual, though. Like,
that was.
I mean, like, Pong's getting items. He's stacking that Rod of Ages, working towards the Zonius, but there is nothing you can do when Imp is this far ahead.
See the look on his face there, Pong. Maybe feeling a bit silly after that, but Imp is...
just giving him his Runans as well for that trouble.
Well, gonna go back now. Collect that item, and LGD starting to really flex their muscles across this rift. They're almost approaching the 20-minute mark, and they've got an absolutely massive gold lead. Gonna steal away the blue buff as well. That will go to Godv. Alacrity Boots Runans is the buy from Imp. He is crazy strong.
Wants to hop everywhere as far as possible and maintain that gap between him and the enemy champions. They'll close the gap as they've found Marta.
Probably closer to close here as LGD. Gonna find the pick, smite that onto Marta, knock up there as well. Slow lands onto 2. Schwan gonna get slowed up there as Godby's charging his way in. Needs to get the last kill, but Pong's diving through. Akon will get it there. And now World 6 gets knocked up. Charm there again for pick number 2. Tunnels the ulti, but dies there to the Ari. And Imp is late to the party, but it doesn't even matter.
Imp's not even necessary at this stage. Akon is doing a whole bunch of damage with that Rod of Ages. The mid laner, Godby on this Ari, is still the assassin that we know and love. He has been destroying people's health bars. They don't, honestly, if they don't need Imp and they can win fights that convincingly, that was not a time where Vici were looking to fight, to be fair. But they got caught out. This is vision control now. Sidewave control from LGD well and truly in their hands as Vayne has to address this one. That tower doesn't exist.
It does not. Looking good. LGD back to game 1 form almost. As I'm kind of surprised they didn't pull the trigger on the Baron, where they're pretty much 10,000 gold ahead. And it's so early into this game. Vici is really going to play it out. Not going to see a surrender.
Just look at the warding on the map right now, though. Like, in all honesty, they can do whatever they want. If they want to go Baron, they want to bait Baron, they want to go bottom. More than welcome to, because they've got about 27 wards on the map.
And Rusty, we've solved it.
It is an unsensor. I thought so.
PYL loves this item.
It's a great item for Janna. It gives attack speed, and for a Callista, pretty good, honestly. And then the best part about it is that your ultimate that heals everybody gives everybody attacks.
With synergy.
Yeah.
It's there.
It's only really good for Janna.
Yes.
But it's really good for Janna.
Seen that pop up. Like you said, only on that champion. We should discover what it builds out of now.
Yep.
Forbidden Knight or Aether Wisp, everyone playing at home. The ZMP is just, he is showing the same strength, the same aggressive positioning he has in the last 2 games, but it is more than justified this game.
Yeah, he's got a whole team to back him as well this time. No matter how fed he's going to be, they're basically winning 4v4s without him. So the added strength of the frontline Imp is devastating to this Vici lineup. They're now just working around the map. They're playing Vici-esque. They're just going to play it slow, look for the objectives, lead out Vici. With the Mega Gnar available, they may want to respect it for a little while.
Yeah, and they're going to try and make a play. Good Tornado as they run back and poke. Just going to run out the clock there on that rage bar. Dandy will whomp down the minion wave. But Acorn's creating pressure in mid. This is one of the things Acorn does best. He's always in a sideline creating some sort of push.
Yeah, he forces them all back to mid lane. The outer turret now in the top lane, very easy for them to take in a very methodical fashion. In doing so, they've pushed multiple areas. This should be free.
Little Nas tired as well. Dandy has to build her up. Rage Mata gonna die there. The initial dive there under the tower. PWL gets pulled out for safety. World 6 gets knocked up. Godfrey's lucky to be alive, but the tower's dead. Dandy will die as well. It's already 3 down, and Chuan is trying so hard to get some damage down. Pwong does get the kill there into PYL. He'll get away safely, but Chuan gonna die to Imp as he flashes forward. And that's 4 kills to 1 for LGD.
And it was honestly really smart play from Imp as well to not continue to chase that Cassid and let him recall, because there were better things. It's the greater good of the game. And
another
Vici
surrender.
Like
no, 23.5 minutes this time, a minute later than game number 1. And it seems so weird to say, but to have such different games on the blue side with Acorn back in the lineup, something magical in the games LGD have won, because they've been so dominant.
Yeah, when they win convincingly. But when the game is close, when it gets taken late, that's when they seem to make the mistakes. And Vici's late game shot calling, you give it to Mata and Dandy in that respect. But right now, 2 times out of the 3 that they have played, both being on blue side. I'm not sure if that's a coincidence yet, but I'm going to keep saying it.
Well, if LGD want to take the series 3-1, we'll have to break serve here in game number 4. Mata looking very focused. Like I said, it is a tough spot to be in. Down 1-2 in a series, but the LGD fans are happy. The Godv signs are out in force. And they're looking good, looking really good.
They are looking exceptional, but of course the big question will come back to them now. Do they actually keep Acorn? Do they put Flame in? And how are they going to perform in their 4th game? Because it's very polarizing so far.
Yeah, I mean, it's a small sample size, but I agree. The games have been very different on sides and with Flame changing as well. I feel like game 2 especially was just an LGD misdraft, and we talked about priority picks. Kog'Maw for Imp, game 1. LGD go off. Rice for game 2 for Dandy. Vici go off, despite LGD getting a decent lead.
And Kalista.
And then Kalista.
Yeah. What could you say? I guess it is the first pick getting priority. Not so much the players, but the way they play the game with those champions has worked well for them.
Yeah, it really has. And LGD, we're going to go up 2-1. We'll take another break, but when we return, can LGD ice out the series at 3-1, or are Vici going to force game number 5? Don't go too far